Hello, Stephen Cruz here with MyMortgageBroker.com and Paragon Mortgages. And today I wanted to talk about, are reverse mortgages worth it? So let me share my screen and we can take a look at that. All right. So are reverse mortgages worth it? What I wanted to cover today is why do Canadians obtain a reverse mortgage? I'm going to talk a little bit about why do reverse mortgages have a stigma, why you would want to consider a reverse mortgage, and what you should do next if you're thinking about having a reverse mortgage. So why Canadians choose a reverse mortgage? I just saw some statistics just the other day, and there are three main reasons why someone would choose, or a Canadian specifically, would choose a reverse mortgage. 40% of reverse mortgage holders in Canada do it for debt consolidation, debt restructuring, to help them with their cash flow, basically. The 55% actually do for lifestyle and cash flow. So they do it as part of an overall plan or strategy, sometimes with a financial advisor, sometimes on their own, so that they can stay in their home longer and have more cash flow well into their retirement. And then 5% actually use it as a strategy for downsizing. So they will sell their home to get equity out, purchase a smaller home and use a reverse mortgage on the purchase so that they have as little equity into the new home as possible, and then get as much of their cash out as possible to then use for their lifestyle and cash flow in the future. So three different strategies. I think the purchase one is actually something that's coming and going to be more popular over time. And I've seen more people doing that lately as part of their retirement strategy. But right now we're seeing a lot more people doing it for the lifestyle based upon their cash flow as part of a plan. So with respect to the 40% debt reduction, the reason that we see this is that a lot of times our costs keep escalating, yet your retirement income often stays the same or doesn't increase at the same pace. And savings rates and savings dwindle, and then we'll have to go into debt potentially to cover some of our costs. And if you go into too much debt, then that really escalates fast. And credit card debt at 16 or 20 or 24% grows substantially and grows fast compared to something like a reverse mortgage or other options that are available. The debt reduction will access equity in your home so that you can set up the reverse mortgage, get some equity out, and pay a lump sum to pay stuff out. You're also allowed to access it to make monthly payments. Typically, it's best to get access to the equity and pay off the debt. Most seniors who are doing debt reduction have a beacon score of over 700, which means they have excellent credit. So it's not because they've gone into arrears, although you can get a reverse mortgage if you've gone into arrears. It's most Canadians who set up a reverse mortgage for debt reduction have a very good beacon score. And so they're doing it strategically so that they don't have these debt payments anymore. They can free up their cash flow and do what they want to do instead of having to worry about the stress of having debt. And that is really the biggest thing that is helpful, is the stress relief that comes when you know you don't have to make those debt payments anymore, and you have a little bit of lump sum money potentially from the equity in your house that you can then use to help supplement your income and live in your home longer. And that's really important for many Canadians. The next part, 55%, is for set up the reverse mortgage for lifestyle. And homes in Canada have increased in value substantially in all areas of the country. And a lot of us have most of our wealth tied up in our house. And so if we've saved and worked so hard to build all this equity in our house, when we retire, that's a big part of our retirement nest egg. And so having a plan that you can use to access that equity and without having to leave your home, without having to make payments, without having to provide a ton of documents as well, it's much better as a part of a plan to help you with your payments, your income, any things you want to do, whether you want to go traveling a little bit or help out some kids. We'll talk about that later. But it is important for you as a Canadian, us as Canadians, to use this, and it looks like we are, 55% of us, are using this as part of an overall plan, financial plan with your advisor or on your own, depending on your situation. You may have an advisor, you may not, but in conjunction with your advisor, there's many clients setting up a reverse mortgage. More than half are setting up for that purpose. And that's, I think, because we see home values in many areas of the country just going up so much that there's so much equity tied in there that you want to get it out. You don't necessarily want to sell. So the last thing is the stigma. I want to cover the stigma because for some reason there is a stigma, and I guess maybe I say some reason, but there really is a stigma, and I think the stigma comes from some misinformation that was provided that you might find online, or people might not realize or might not know the whole story about how it works, or they may have chosen it when the interest rates were very high. Interest rates have come down substantially, and you can lock in some good interest rates right now on a reverse mortgage, and you don't have to worry about it eating away the equity really fast. In Canada, you will never get kicked out of your house. The two lenders who offer these reverse mortgages pretty much guarantee, it's not quite guaranteed, but it's pretty much guaranteed that you won't get kicked out of your house. And they basically say as long as you're maintaining your home and as long as you are keeping the property taxes up to date. And in fact, the property taxes you can have, both lenders will allow you to defer the property taxes. And so with both, you're going to be in good standing and likely not ever have to worry about it. There are a number of horror stories about reverse mortgages from the US, and they're very different in Canada versus the US. And so sometimes you might read something online and you think it's related to a Canadian company, but it's actually a US company and a US rules around the reverse mortgages. So you don't want to, the reverse mortgages there are different, so you don't want to misinterpret that. And many clients have incomplete information about how they work. And so it's really important for, if you're thinking about this, for you to understand what exactly a reverse mortgage is and how whether or not it fits into your financial plan and whether or not it's important, it's something that you want to have, because there are other options, but it can be a very feasible and a very good financial tool for you for your cash flow. If we were to compare reverse mortgages in Canada with people in the UK, the UK per capita sets up 5 times more reverse mortgages than Canadians. And I don't think there's as much of a stigma there for it. We are similar in some ways, and home values can be relatively similar. In the UK, typically their pensions are a little less than in Canada, from what I've seen, but Canadians are growing, and the reverse mortgage market is growing here, and more people are taking them out, but the UK is well ahead of us. And with respect to the States, because the States are so different, I don't really want to compare the States to us here in Canada. So that's a very interesting statistic, I thought. So why would you consider it? So you consider a reverse mortgage to stay in your home longer. Really, sometimes you would consider because you want to downsize, get equity out, move to another house, and put as little equity in as possible. And you can put a reverse mortgage on that too. And that is 5% of the population do that. As part of an overall plan, a reverse mortgage is an excellent tool that you can use as part of your overall plan to have your pension and supplement it with tax-free income. If you draw money out of your reverse mortgage, it's not income. It's not considered income as much as it's income to you. It's not taxable income. And so it's you drawing on equity in the home that you have saved, paid off, and built equity over years. It's a great stress reliever to know that you have additional cash flow, that and sometimes with reverse mortgages, you can set it up so you have more cash flow than you need. So it's nice to have a little extra to put aside just in case, and be able to do things at a whim that you may not if you have to budget every penny and you're spending every penny on because you've got all this equity in a house that you're not using and you're trying to live on a small pension. And many seniors that I've talked to who have set up reverse mortgages use some of the money to give to their grandkids, so to help their grandkids out. Sometimes they give them to their kids, but most of the time it's for their grandkids, and so they can see their grandkids benefiting from the money they're giving them, rather than giving it to them when they're gone and they don't get to see them benefit. So sometimes it could be for their schooling, or for other activities, or for other investments, etc. And so that's often what seniors will do for their grandkids. So why should you, or what should you do, should I say, what should you do? In my opinion, now I'm biased, I am a mortgage broker, I think you should consider or consult a mortgage broker. I don't believe it's a good idea to go right to a reverse mortgage lender, because that's all they'll tell you about. As a mortgage broker, I have access to reverse mortgages. I know how they work. I understand the differences between the two companies, but I also understand other options, and whether it's a regular mortgage, or whether it's another way to finance your house with a potential home equity line of credit. And so I can show you all the different options, and you can review all of those, and you can get an unbiased opinion about which one is best for you, because that's what I'm here to represent you and to help you find what's best for you. Again, I'm biased. I think you should talk to a mortgage broker. And I also think you need to get as much information as you can. I've provided a bunch of videos. You can look above here. Is it here? Maybe over there? I don't know. You can look. There's a few. I'll put some links in the description, and you can watch some other videos. I have some pros and cons of reverse mortgages, a little discussion about how reverse mortgages work. So it gives you some information about them. And if you go to my website, I also wrote a couple of articles about reverse mortgages and how I really outlined the benefits and the pros and cons in a few of those articles, so you can really get your teeth into it and figure out what if it might be beneficial to you. So you get to decide what you want to do, because you really want to know your options. You want to know what you're choosing, and make sure it's right for you, because that is the key. A reverse mortgage might not be the right option, and if it's not, you don't want to be just talking to a company that offers that and not have any other choices. So that's why I recommend speaking with a mortgage broker. And I'm happy to chat with you. You can connect with me, and my contact information can be found on my website. So you just go to contact us, mymortgagebroker.com. About us is where you can contact me, and I would be happy to chat, or you can call me direct. If you enjoyed the information on this video, I would really appreciate you to subscribe, press the like button, and share with your friends. And if you have any other questions about reverse mortgages, or you think I should cover other things, please put it in the comments, and I'll make sure I create another video to cover any other topics that you want. Thank you, and have a great day.